Take your time and do your tricks. All I do is sing along. Yeah, I need you around for brighter light and firmer ground. When you believe in me, love is gonna set me free.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your guru of inspiration, Michelle Bolden Hammond. And listen, everyone, she is one of our top viewers, one of our top interviewers, one of our top supporters of the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. So I am here to introduce, maybe you haven't seen her, but I am here to introduce my lovely sisterhood friend, Mrs. Victoria M. Holland of the Victoria Elevates, or the Elevated Not Tolerated, and some other things. But tonight she is going to be talking to us about her newest project, which is 40 plus and fabulous, embracing the art of self-care with laughter and love. So listen, we're just not excluding this to 40s. We really nurtured it for everyone because self-care is very important, and just laughing can do the soul so much love, and just love, because the world we know needs more love. So welcome, Victoria. How have you been doing? I see you have been busy.
I'm trying to keep up with you, Michelle. You know how we do. You taught me so much. You have taught me so much since 20 that I'm just trying to keep up with you, girl. Just rolling.
Listen. I'm telling you now, this artificial intelligence, you might get some artificial intelligence zero boots for what's happening. But
tell the truth.
To tell the truth in it, it's because, I often get the question, and I know you do too. Somebody be like, what, Michelle, how you do it? You do so much. And where do you find the time? Again, it's practical self-care tips that helps me and keeps me downloaded, because that's where it has to be. You have to put that regimen of self-care in there. And I love the fact. And when we talk about self-care, no, it's not selfish, but sometimes we can be selfish with ourselves and not taking it. Am I correct? Because
you better say that is true. That is the truth.
It's very important for me to self-care. And not only when I'm talking about self-care, it's about other people's energy that comes around you. And yes, I said the word energy, and I'm still saved.
Look, we still say
it's still
saved, y'all.
It's it's about, because that's good. I understand what I can take around me and what can change my atmosphere. And it is about people's other stuff, as you say, their sugar, honey, iced tea, other people's stuff. So that's being good. 40 and plus and fabulous, because I don't know, did you see, it's a viral thing going around with this young lady that says that people 40 over shouldn't come out the house without makeup. Well, sis,
I do it all the time.
I do it all the time too. And I get it. I have times when I have to look certain ways, photo shoots, whatever, interviews, whatever. Tonight you see me in my authentic self. And that's how I choose to be in my authentic self tonight. Yes, I have my,
I don't touch your lipstick. That's about it.
Yeah, I got a little touch of lipstick, little lip gloss, or whatever that is. But for that young lady, I had to say, that's only her opinion, because no, ma'am, and you can just take your seat on the bus and keep on rolling.
I'll even give her a free signed copy of the book. How about that?
I know. How about it? So if you're watching and if you get a pot, plus for me too, I'll actually give her one of mine.
Hey,
Maybe give her the 90-day self challenge mindset change because honey, something typically has to be changed in that mindset
yep,
because
that's
tell
true.
me 40 and over, I need to have makeup. I have to have it on. No,
Man.
not so. But anyway, let's get to talking about this book that you have that I want everyone to see. Yes, 40
Okay.
plus and fabulous, embracing the art of self-care with laughter and love. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Victoria, tell us about this and how did this come
Well, let me first say it's a pleasure to always be back on your show. I love, we always have a good time when I'm on the show and past the show. We always have a great time. So thank you again, and thank you for being one of the people that found value in purchasing the book. I appreciate it.
Oh, most definitely.
This kind of it's a mixture of my own kind of mishaps with my own self care, my own health care, if you will. A lot of people know, I had COVID, and then, I'm considered a long hauler. So a lot of things that I used to do or could say or remember or however you want to phrase it didn't always click. And part of it was the lack of the self care that I had prior to getting COVID. And so this book was sitting in the cupboard of my, gonna publish one day deal. And as a part of my own therapy, or a part of my own wellness and self-care, I said, you know what, let's bring this joker out. Let's start talking about this thing there,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of stigmatisms out there, like that chick that don't know what she's talking about with 40 and makeup. I'm sorry, whoever the heck you are. You don't have a clue what you're talking about, because I'm 60, baby. And I just put on some lipstick and a little eyeliner today. So hush your mouth. But at the end of the day, the book, kind of developed from wanting to come clean with my own issues, right? There was things in my own area of my life that I wasn't doing. I even tell it in the book. I don't eat right all the time. I don't exercise right all the time. I don't stop and take a break at all the time. But what I did realize during this process of releasing this information out of the book was that I had a place in my life where I wasn't doing the right things, and it was causing me more headaches than it was causing me anything. Self-care is, and you're the guru of it. It requires us to take some time for ourselves. We cannot. God did not only give us. He only gave us 24 hours in a day. He didn't give us 36. Contrary to everybody's belief, we don't have 36 hours in a day. We only got 24. So I had to sit down and I kind of thought about some things with my own self-care. What was I doing wrong that was still causing me headaches? What was causing these migraines that I had? What was causing all of these things? Some of it was just because I was burned out from just doing too doggone much. I needed to sit down and have a cup of tea by myself. I had to stop worrying about, I had to make some real goals that was going to make some changes in my life. As a type 2 diabetic, I had to realize that part of resting and taking care of myself was a part of that. Self-care has this stigmatism with some people, and apparently with that chick right there, that, the self-care is getting your nails done and getting your feet done. Those are all wonderful things to do as an enhancement. But self-care is really you taking time for yourself, enjoying you, looking at you in the mirror and loving the heck out of you before you can love all this other stuff. I can't tell you the last time I had an official pedicure. Why? Because that's not really what really changes who I am on the inside. Taking this break and resting and having a moment to look at my health from a different perspective and taking time to do some things that I enjoy doing, floor arrangements. I mean, things that I enjoy doing, but still having that moment where, I don't have to worry about what you like or what you don't like. And so the book came out of, part of a conversation with my own therapist that I was saying, hey, I'm a certified master life coach. I know what personal development does. Personal development includes self-care. Why the heck? And, Simone said to me one day, she says, I want to read this manuscript you got. I want to see what's going on. And so when she read it, she said, this is probably going to be the best work you've ever done. And that's why she agreed to do the foreword of the book, because it was important for me to tell some other people 40 plus, and even you young guys out there that's under 40, start taking care of yourself and doing some things that's going to empower you and embrace you and educate you to do a better job of taking care of who you are.
Victoria, and you know what you just said about floral arrangements. Okay, guys, I want you to look at most of my newest pictures. If you look back at the intro of the show, that is a dress that I worn for my photo shoot. Victoria did the headpiece. So
yes,
she does a very good job.
Thank
she did
you.
the headpiece, the floral headpiece that I used in the photo shoot for the sound bowl. And, not only that she's an author, coach, she got a whole lot. I might have to use it for a backup singer that's coming up. So.
I don't know, Michelle. You want to sell your music, not It's been a long time since I really sung. I hum a good piece for you though.
Yeah, but I what I loved about this book myself, because you have a part where you talk about laughter in this book and about the grinny grin. Where you talk about that the grin, your laughter actually is your dance partner. Yes. And you gave it in another analogy that everybody else looking for that perfect dance partner, but that laughter is within your soul. And if you're not, that's like your connection, just dance and laughter. There's nothing wrong with laughter. And it goes back to an incident for me the other day that I'm gonna share, that people need a smile, maybe, because my smile the other day, I'm rolling up to Starbucks, hadn't been there in a while. I'm like, hey, I'm go ahead and splurge on myself a little bit again, and not just saying self-care, but just taking out a moment, just seizing a moment, right? Mm-hmm. So I go to the Starbucks, a car in front of me, this lady with the top down in this Maserati, right? And she pulls to the window, have her hand thrown out, and she goes, I looked at the drink. I was like, man, that looks like a good drink. Now I'm thinking, I'm pulling up to the window. I was like, that looks like a really good drink. And I said it out loud, but I was like, little smile on my face. And the lady says, the lady at the window goes, oh, well, that's very good. That's good. You want to try it? I'll give you a little sample. She was like, a sample? It's like a sample. But honey, she came back, didn't charge me, had a nice medium size, the medium size drink that I got for free. And she said, I gave it to you because of your smile. And that just tickled me so much. And again, it made me think about sometime when you laughter, sometime when you within yourself, just taking time out just to stop the presses and just enjoy life.
Yeah. Do you agree? See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. I mean, that in itself, I want to come up there and go to the same Starbucks and just say, hey, I'm a Shelby Hammons fan, and I'm smiling. Can I get a but but people don't think about that is an act of peace for yourself. When somebody looks at Michelle, I look at you, Michelle, on all of your different albums and stuff and things that you're doing. It's your glow that brings me, right? And so if I can see the peace in you by you just being you and you just doing you, that should produce something in me that's going to make me want to push to calm myself down and have a little self-care take for me. Because if you can look good just going up and just saying, hey, that looks good, and you're relaxed in what you're saying, that's, and I'm going to say spirit, that energy that you give out too, that's some energy that people need for you to acknowledge somebody else. Acknowledging somebody else and even doing it with a smile causes somebody else to give you something that they know that they've got to, technically should charge you for, but because your aura gave them peace, Can you imagine how if we would really take in, a deeper look into our self-care and having that peace with ourselves, how many other people can pick that energy up from us?
Wow.
If they
You
could
said
just
something right there. You said that right there. Because hey, this past weekend, I was at a self-care in the woods. Well, actually it was an outdoor wellness that I actually took partake of as a facilitator with doing the sound bowls that I do, the sound baths outside. I had 2 sessions. One was the opening of the ceremony and the closing of the ceremony. And to have women sitting out there, some had never been introduced to the sound baths.
Wow.
Some people had never been introduced to the sound baths, and they actually came that day for the self-care. There was something about the wound care, was someone there about the wound. It was someone there about your mental health, mindfulness, doing walks. She has a healing walking. I was like, man, this was like phenomenal. When I say phenomenal.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's it. And man, I should have posted a picture just to be out there on that water at a lighthouse. To stand on this piece of the lighthouse. And I was like, man, you radiate. I was like, but the water was I was like, this is just so peaceful. And it was a spiritual healing walk. You just tapped into, because one of the things that the lady said was, and I'm actually going to have her on the show. I might have to get y'all two connected too.
That'd be great.
One thing the lady said was, a lot of people don't understand that God speaks in the nature.
Wow. See, that's amazing, because when I let somebody read that part that's in the book about that, touching into your nature, as a part of self-care, somebody said, well, what are you talking about? How can that be a part of spiritual? I said, well, Dad Blaster, who do you think created the nature?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And that you're so right, because I'm going to tell you, for me, I don't usually do no walk in the woods, but but after the show tonight, I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I took. Some of the pictures of the woods and somehow the trees were landed. Some of the one of these 2 trees were entwined together that looked like a heart. And that was just telling me that God is still loving on us. The bees, the birds, the flowers, the stuff on your path, the symphony of how we know our ancestors toured these lands and worked for free. So I'm working the path in my own freedom now. So yeah, it was just inviting yesterday to get there. And that's a part of self-care. Your mind, your body, and your soul.
Michelle.
So, it was very refreshing to see that. But, speaking of that, we're going to take a little break, but we're going to come back and we're going to hear more about another project that you got that's going on that I think will be great for anyone who, I will tell you, when you go, you might have to break up a couple of these eggs. And think about the analogy after you hear what she got going on. So just stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
Creep on in, on in, on in.
Welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. That there is one of the projects that I have that's coming up in the coming week. This week, it will be our sale pre-orders of our Polished, Passionate, and Poised Memoirs of the World Changers Revised. And what's so exciting about this project is we did a mini docuseries based upon something. I thank you for bringing up, Victoria, about in your self-care. It is self-care to have a therapist and know about your mental health. And this documentary is going to be so much and helpful for engraving our people, because, be honest, all of us have had trauma some type of way.
That's it.
All of us have, but it's how you deal with it and how you move along with it. And it's very important for us, not, well, yeah, because, in our culture, not
Yes.
all, not some, but in our culture, it's always been said what stays in this house, what goes on in this house, stays in this house. Well, then you had Uncle Boo Boo molesting you, and that went on through a family lineage where he just did this, and it was something that was normal within.
Yes.
Or you had someone who stayed in the room. Oh, don't pay. You be as a family cookout. Oh, Aunt Mary, she's sitting over there. Oh, Aunt Mary, she just acts that way. She just
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
So know the signs. No, this is why we bringing this apart, to let people know that once once this is out in the atmosphere, it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's no stigma, because we all have had some type of trauma, regardless of what physical, mental, spiritual. Spiritual.
Yeah. Here we go again. Here we
Here
go.
we go.
Here we
Anyway,
go.
so
We
just
got to do a collaboration on that, Michelle. That's just it.
October 12th, that will be released, the mini docuseries, where I have my good friend Omika Jackson, who is a licensed mental health provider, who is a part of the movie, where she did a conversation where we just had a conversation and talked about certain things.
That's great.
In our family. So I'm excited about that.
That's
but
great.
And it's not about, we talked about before the show, before we went for a little break, we talked about eggshells. So Victoria,
Yeah.
can you give the audience the name of the next project that you're working on?
I would love to. And let me say again, thank you for being one of the first people to purchase the 40 and Plus book, because your name is going to appear in this next book. It's called Stop Walking on Eggshells, Breaking the Silence on People Pleasing.
Wow.
And in that book, we included people that took the self-care book and, invested into us. And so that book, I guess we can see that a little bit there. That is what it looks like. It's going to be it should be released to the public, where you can actually start pre-ordering next week. And then around the 25th, you'll see the book actually go out for purchasing, openly. We're going to be doing some readings from the book. We're going to do a private reading about both of the two books together. But yeah, the eggshell book it was sort of actually it was supposed to be coming out before the 40 Plus. It's in between another book that's coming out that you, my friend, will have first, dibs on that one. Nobody will even see that before it comes out. But the Pleasing book is my way of pulling out my own eggshells. It's about me stepping on those eggshells and crashing those babies, right? And then, we talk about, pulling off onion skins and releasing stuff. Well, I do the onion skin pulling. In my classes, I tell people that I pull off your bandage and pour alcohol into your wounds so I can cleanse them out. Well, that's exactly what the eggshell book is going to do too. People pleasing is a issue that we keep brushing up under the covers, right? We keep saying that, oh, I'm not a people pleaser. Can I be honest with you? We all do it in some form of fashion. But when it comes to be detrimental to us is when it causes us to lose who we are. It causes us to, when we start self-sabotaging who we are. And in the self-pleasing book, I thought it was time. It was, for me, it happened. Again, this is one of the books that's been sitting, the draft's been sitting back in the cupboards for a while because I didn't want to tell the secrets about my past and things that had hurt me and all those kinds of things. But then it started coming out. It was things that was starting to be revealed, some things that God was just kind of downloading me. The last 2 years, Michelle, I tell you that I had this, I don't like to use this phrase too much because it's cliche-ish, but I had my own aha moment. I was like, why am I not doing certain things? Why am I not getting to a certain place? It was because I was too busy getting everybody else accolades. I was too busy pumping somebody else up. I was too busy pushing somebody else's stuff that didn't give a rats pass about me, just, trying to be, political correct for you people out there. But it was at the point that I started seeing myself, when I started rolling back the cameras and the time in my life, that I was people pleasing more than I was pleasing myself and pleasing God. We all talk about, oh, I'm pleasing God, I'm pleasing God. But take a note out of the book. Are you pleasing more people than you're pleasing yourself? Even the definition is what we opened up within the book. And it's my definition. It's something that I thought was, when I was really doing the research and studying people pleasing. And people, of the simple fact that some people don't understand that people pleasing is a form of bullying. People don't get it, because if you start looking at why, if I'm coming to your cookout, or I'm gonna say your big event, because I got my red shoes on. If I'm coming to your big event and you say, hey Vic, I want you to bring the sweet, the banana pudding and the sweet potato pies, girl, because you got it going on, and I'm more worried about, well, I got to make sure I got the right taste of the pie, because Michelle is having these people, and if I don't fix the pie like Michelle wants, she's going to be upset with me. Oh my, I won't have Michelle as my friend anymore. Boo-hoo me. And during that whole time, I'm worried about getting the freaking sweet potato pies ready for you so that you don't get mad at me. I still got on my tennis shoes with my pretty red dress on, and here I'm walking up to your event. I'm walking in tennis shoes and not my red bottoms, right? I'm people pleasing you, but I'm making myself like a big idiot, right? So the people pleasing book is my way of saying, look, it's time to stop playing games with people. It's time to start improving who we are. My definition of people pleasing is, I want people to understand is being trapped in a never ending game of let's make a deal. You know how we used to play that game with the contestants on the show, and the prize is that exclusive golden ticket, and it's approval. The golden ticket is approval from everyone. That's the deal. If I brought you the right amount of pies and you like the pies because you've ate my pies before, not my pies, my daughter's pies, just so you know. But at the same token, you ate those pies. And here it is. You're patting me on the back. Oh, sweet Victoria. She bought the best sweet potato pies in the world. And all of a sudden, people start looking. Oh, that's Michelle's friend Victoria. They're liking me because I'm your friend with the pies. They're not liking me because I'm a human being. They're not liking me because I have intelligence. They're liking me because I got to get your approval. And when I look at you and you're telling me about the pies, and I'm looking at you and you're going, yeah, girl, those pies were good. I'm getting your approval. I'm getting your approval so that I can hang out with you more. I'm getting your approval so that when it starts shaking in the moon, they can say, oh yeah, that's the clique right there. How many of us are pleasing other people to be in a clique? And that's what some of the things that we talk about in the book, because at the end of the day, it's like you're juggling your own desires. You're juggling your own opinions of other people. And you're trying to get to that prize of teaching yourself. You're just nodding your head. Yeah, I'm gonna bump my head because you want me to. But next week I'm be at your party. Yep, I'm gonna run my foot over with that carton so that I can make sure that I'm a part of your team. I don't have to do that.
Right.
If I'm being realistic, I'm being myself, right? If at the end of the day, if I can be who I am, then that should mean more to you than anything. In this book, I bring out things that I think a lot of people don't even look at as people pleasing. One of the issues I bring out is how we're people pleasing in Christian walk in the church. How we people please going to church every Sunday. I'm going to wear my big red hat on Sunday because I want to make sure that my hat sits right so First Lady will see me and she knows I'm wearing my big red hat. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter if, First Lady likes my big red hat or not. Does that mean that I'm going to get any closer to God by wearing my big red hat on Sunday? It doesn't. It just means that there's something else that's going to be going on. But in the same token, there are different things that we do as people pleasing that are causing us issues. People pleasing causes us hardship when we're dealing in relationship in general. If all we're worrying about is who likes us, who's going to like us now, who's going to care about us in the long run, do I have their approval? What's going to happen? We're going to continue to do that to the point that nothing else seems to matter and life stops, right? And one of the things I say in the people pleasing book is, be aware of the side effects of this book, because it's going to have you finding some new courage about yourself, Michelle. The self-pleasing, once we pull those eggs, we start crashing those shells under our feet, we start feeling some freedom, right? And eggshells, if you start hearing, when you do something that's cracking, when you're cracking windows and stuff of that nature, it gets your attention because it's breaking the pieces off. And the people pleasing book is that it has to be, people pleasing has to be brought to the point that we understand that if we don't stop doing it now, we're going to continue to sabotage who we are. We're going to continue to beat ourselves up, and nothing's going to matter. All it's going to matter is if you like me and can I come to your house and watch the football game? Is it going to matter? No, it ain't going to matter. If you don't like me, you're not going to let me come over anyway, right? That's the whole thing. We start pleasing. We're doing things to keep everybody happy but our own selves. And this has just been a tailgate for me to tell some stories about myself. I mean, I love hanging out with you because I can be that real. But there's a whole lot of people, Michelle, that can't be real. They're covering up with masks and stuff. And so the people pleasing book is bringing that out. It's right at 172 pages of true down-to-earth information about people pleasing. We also introduced a couple of characters that I want to bring into the book. People that I'm going to, I think it's real interesting how we get conversations going. And so in the book, I bring Pookie and Choo Choo and Ray Ray. They're going to have some conversations sitting by, just to give you a little heads up, but Pookie and Choo Choo, they've been battling people pleasing so long that they didn't know what was going on until they bought my book. They were one of my clients, if you will, and fictitious, but they have a conversation throughout the book about what's going on, and they actually help you develop through the process of people pleasing, which you can do. But this has been like a big eye-opening. It's been an eye-opening for me. And, a lot of people say, my therapist, she was like, now here, because I say it when I'm doing some of my lives sometimes in the past, I've said, you can talk to Pookie and Choo Choo and Ray Ray. And so she says, oh God, you're going to bring him into the book. And I said, yeah, why not? I mean, I'm not, I don't care who that is. I did a little research of where those names came from, but in all actuality, we all got a Pookie and a Choo Choo and a Ray Ray in our life. We just have to be able to grab it. But the people pleasing book is going to be something that I hope that people will take and they will grasp to it, because it came actually from a part of self-care. When I was realizing that I was drowning and not having people around me to boost me up, there were people Michelle, there were people I thought would never just up and just high dry and kick me to the curb. The very moment I needed some energy, all that people pleasing I was doing and kissing butt, what the heck were they? What the heck were they when I was drowning in my people pleasing pool? I was drowning in there. I mean, we even talk about that people pleasing is like having a full course meal. There's some things that people just don't think about. And this book is, it has been very liberating for me. I have laughed at myself. I have laughed at some of the things that I've done. I talk about the opening part of it talks about, how this is like a recipe for self-neglect. I talk about that in depth. I tell you about the well-being stew. I tell you about the self-esteem starvation. I tell you about getting that approval addiction spices. There's even a burnout dessert in the book. So, there's things I talk about, but Pookie and Choo Choo and Ray Ray, they helped me get you through the book too. But it's amazing. I think it's probably one of my therapist says these two books have been the best books I have ever written. And I said, well, dag, does that mean the other books were garbage? And she said, She said, no, it's just that you pulled out so many onion skins that you're absolutely real to the people in these books. So that's the people pleasing book, and it's coming out. Like I said, the pre-orders will be available next week, and then you can actually see us doing some readings from the book. And then on the 25th, we actually release the book before purchasing.
All right, then there is her email, her website that we have shown here tonight. Go buy yourself 50 of them.
Oh,
and
thanks, Michelle.
Go buy yourself 50 of them. They'll be good for your self-care. They will be limited for, look, you're going to have a limited edition. You probably get you get limited edition of this series all around for the regimen of self-care. So yes. There is her information. We appreciate you so much for joining us tonight and sharing about your new projects and more projects to come.
Yeah.
And again, looking for the collaborations as always.
Yes.
So audience, this will be concluding our tonight's session of the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I am your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond. And one of the things that I always say is, through the mantras, because again, the world needs more love, right? So just know, if you don't feel that you've been loved or you are loved, just know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. And we have some special things that'll be coming up pretty soon too, as well. But stay tuned for the following week, because we have our Fire Park peers, Richard Lewis and Danielle Davis, who will be back because they have a conference that's coming up for those who have been incarcerated, where they're bringing the people in the room. So you do not want to miss that show, because that is going to be a firecracker show as well. So again, just know, if no one has told you that you've been loved, just know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. Until next week, I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond. Take care.